Well, hello all and welcome back. Gigi today again. And today I want to talk about something that's been on my heart, and it is really just fun for me to talk about because I do love apologetics. And I feel like I've been seeing more and more content come out with biblically sound apologists and their role that they play so vital in our world today. I just want to rejoice in that and present to you kind of a top three of who I listen to on the daily when it comes to English apologetics content. And I do think that we're in a time where some questions about, faith and truth and morality are just more prevalent than ever. We can kind of assess why maybe in a later episode, but they are really prevalent. And so having these voices that can articulate and defend the our faith, right, our Christian faith with clarity, but also with compassion, I think that's essential. So I want to talk about all of that. Stick with me, hear me out. It's just a thought. Okay, so I kind of picked a top three, but there are so many more, and I made sure to also pick ones that are easy to find, that I feel like are biblically sound, and that I find to be, likable. Because sometimes people can be biblically sound and they can try their best and you just don't connect with them. But these three I think you will connect with just because they're very down to earth, and that's how I like to learn. That's how I like to listen to people. But this is not a knockoff to any other, and I'm no one to be knocking off any other. These are my favorites in English, and I will have one final plug for anybody who's also French speaking or who can understand French, which is my primary language, and we have one little special plug at the end for the French speaking crowd. So let's start with reminding everyone what apologetics are and why they are important. And I know I've done an apologetic series, a Christian apologetics series, and I've talked about apologetics many times, but who knows, maybe you just landed here, maybe you're new in the faith, maybe you're just faith curious and you're trying to see what I'm talking about. So Christian apologetics are a way to defend the faith, a way to explain our faith and kind of show the arguments for the existence of God and the why we think Christianity is true and why it's the one true religion. It is very important because we do not have faith based on nothing. We do not have faith based on just our emotions or our traditions or what our parents taught us. I think as you grow, it is important to make a decision on what you believe based also on, sound arguments, things that can be proven, and just to critically think about the ideas you may have received from your parents or the outside world as a little person, as a kid, versus now that you do have your critical thinking skills to present those arguments and understand why you believe what you believe. And so it has also been commended to us in the Bible in 1 Peter 3:15, where we were taught to always be ready to defend our faith and provide an answer to whoever might be asking questions about the hope that we have in us, because not only just to have a little chat, but it's because it can bring other people to Christ. It can show the truth to other people, and we're all ambassadors of Christ when we become Christians. So it is important to know what we're talking about, not to become experts necessarily, but to just understand what we believe, why we believe it, and be able to articulate it whenever necessary. So that being said, that is the why of the what. Now, let's plug my top three. I'm sure you might have your own, or as I mentioned, if you're just faith curious, give it a try. Search these people because I'm about to endorse them. Not that they need me at all. They don't even know I exist. Not that they care, but I do think if one person can find their work and dig through it, I'll be happy. So I did make an episode about Wesley Huff. He became very viral these last few months because of the debate that he had with, I forgot his name, Billy Carson. Is that his full name? I think. So Wesley was he's just everywhere right now, talking to everyone on mainstream podcasts, on not mainstream, should I say, mainly people that have a lot of following and in places that you wouldn't think to find Christian talk. He was born in Pakistan, very interesting actually, and he was raised partially in the Middle East, as per his stories that he's been sharing. And he was faced when he was a child with a rare, like, neurological condition. He was around 11 years old and it left him paralyzed. But he did experience a recovery that doctors could not explain. This happens a lot in life, and we don't always get the chance of hearing people's testimonies. But Wesley has been sharing this story a little bit everywhere that he's been. And so now, fast forward to his grown self, he is a Canadian, a Canadian apologist, and he's now, like a PhD candidate in the New Testament studies at the University of Toronto. And he serves as the director, I think it's called like the Central Canada Director, for the organization called Apologetics Canada. I guess their whole spiel is to engage in dialogues and debates, sometimes across North America. I love it. I like it. I just think it's so necessary to go to the people, talk to them, answer questions with love and compassion. And I like that Wes is simple. I like that he has the ability to just connect with audiences. And I also like that he's able to really address questions that are complex for some of us. We kind of know the answer, but it's hard to articulate that. And so it is complex, but he makes it easy to understand. And he has a way of connecting with the audience and connecting with whoever is in front of him that I think make his whole ministry very, very impactful. And so you can find his work and his conversations everywhere, especially now on YouTube. He does have his own channel. He's also on X, so he's everywhere really. And you can look into the organization as well if you are in Canada, like I am in Canada. Then there is Frank Turek. I think I have mentioned Frank in the Frank. I'm talking as if I know him. So I think I have mentioned Dr. Frank Turek in the past with the books that I have recommended. I think every book he's written with his colleagues or associates are fantastic. Apologetics book. He is a very, very dynamic speaker. He's a good author for books like I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. I know that's also a show now, like a radio show that you can find online. And there's another book he wrote called Stealing from God. So he wrote a lot of materials that can be studied and presented. He does a lot of, what do you call those when you told, like seminars and open debates with people that are atheists, or just empowering Christians on how to communicate the message and how to get into apologetics. And I know that he's also the president of crossexamine.org. I've visited the website before. He does present really compelling evidence for Christianity. I know he goes into churches and into like universities, schools. I like that he goes everywhere, and he's published material to help every Christian and every faith curious person to go and find, to go and study, and to be able to be an ambassador for Christ or come to the faith if they first get acquainted with his work as atheists. And I'll also say that he kind of combines perfectly the logical reasoning with the deep understanding of whatever is happening in our contemporary world, right? So sometimes it's easy to just talk about the history of Christianity and why it's true and who Jesus was and the resurrection and the universe, whatever it may be. But it could be complicated sometimes to make that correspond or apply all of that knowledge to what's going on in 2025 with questions that might be pertaining to issues that are brand new, right? So I like that he's able to kind of connect the dots with that, and he really seems to understand what challenges we face pardon now in 2025. So that's for Dr. Frank Turek. I also, lastly, in terms of the English speaking world, I really like Mike Winger. He's very big on YouTube. He makes waves. He's very biblically sound, and he has his own Bible Thinker channel. It's called the Bible Thinker, and he's very well researched. I know he spends a lot of time researching things. He does these Q&As on Fridays that I listen to pretty much every Friday, if I'm not mistaken, when he's live. He, of course, produces biblical content, as the title says, right? The Bible Thinker. And his motto, or his little line that he always says, is he's going to help people think biblically about everything, which I like, because I like that we get to ask a question and we get to have an answer that is with him and us doing the exercise of going to seek the answer in the Bible. And so he's online. I know he was, or he still is, a preacher somewhere in his local church, but I think he's now full-time online, if I'm not mistaken. And so he does also talk about practical Christian living, which is very important. I think, again, it's good to be able to talk about apologetics. It's good to be able to address the current challenges that the world faces, the non-Christian world, but it's also good for us to kind of talk about and bring out what Christian living actually means and what are the difficulties we can go through. And so he does a great job of that. And finally, for the French speaking, my bilingual people that might be hearing my podcast, by the way, if you're bilingual, hit the thumbs up. I want to know who's listening. I will also say that I've noticed that most people that listen to this, not most, a big chunk of the people that listen to this podcast are not subscribed. So this is a shame. You know what? You need to subscribe right about now. So if you are French speaking, hit the thumbs up to let me know, meaning if you're bilingual or more than, what is it, trilingual, polyglot, I'm not sure what the word is. Hit that button and let me know, of course, if you have heard of the first three, which are the English speaking apologists that I mentioned. The last one for my French speaking friends is Sam Parle. His name is Samuel Plante. I really like his material. He's very passionate in terms of communicating and just influencing the Christian world and the atheist world. He has a YouTube channel. He kind of tackles, I would say, cultural stuff, but also, of course, theological topics. And of course, he has a way of making these complex ideas very accessible and very engaging for a broad audience. He came to my church not too long ago, and I must say it was just very, very engaging, very interesting. He makes fun videos, as in and entertaining, not in the wrong way, but just really entertaining in terms of he's straight to the point, clear, sometimes with a little bit of humor. I like Sam Parle. So I will link these YouTube channels below, but if you are looking for more apologetics, if you're looking for people who are more or less experts in what they talk about, I like to talk about my faith and experience and what I know about apologetics, but sometimes here and there I like to just let loose and talk about whatever the internet is talking about. I like to sometimes just plug in books, which in the month of June we'll talk more about some of the books that I've been reading lately, and we'll talk about sometimes unserious topics. So you might be looking to find really good Christian apologetic content, and I think these 4 people, so 3 in English, 1 in French, that I mentioned should do it for you. So that's that. And so I want to, of course, put emphasis, I guess, on why we need more of this, right? When we are equipped to understand our faith deeply, when we are equipped to engage thoughtfully with the world around us, that's how we bridge the gap, right? That's how we bridge the gap between whatever is ancient in terms of truth and whatever is contemporary in terms of questions that people might have. And it's also good to make sure that we are providing answers that are like not only just intellectually satisfying. It's good to know that yes, Jesus lived, he was a real person, for example, but also spiritually enriching, to make people come to the faith, to make people be curious about what that means spiritually, to have the knowledge. And so I will kind of close with sharing Ephesians 4. You might already know this. So it's in Ephesians 4, verses 11 and 12. I always say, if you have never opened a Bible a day in your life, it is not too late. You can go find an online Bible. They're free. You can go buy a, paper and not just rely on what I say or what other people say or what apologetics say. So that's my little 2 cents on, starting to open the Bible. So in Ephesians 4, 11 and 12, Paul says, so Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers to equip his people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up. So I think the modern day teachers that we have, the ones that I mentioned, the ones that I did not mention, it's all part of building up the body of Christ by addressing doubts, by also strengthening the faith. Because the more we understand that the truth is true, right? We're not here just hoping it's true. We know it's true. It does strengthen the faith. And so I think also that their ministries demonstrate that faith is not confined to church walls. Sometimes we have this ideas in our head that, well, the ministry is in the church, or the ministry is in only the home, but it's outside. It's with other people. And it could be in academic, settings. It could be online. It could be in everyday conversations. These people, I think they're all bringing the gospel to diverse spaces. And that's what I like. And it's showing that Christianity speaks to everyone in all areas of life. And so we can kind of learn from them as well. So I guess whether you listening are a believer, maybe you're just looking to deepen your understanding, or maybe you're somebody who stumbled upon this page and you're just exploring faith because you're tired of the lies that are in the world currently, I just encourage you to check out the work of these people that I mentioned. Develop your own likings, find other people that are biblically sound. But to be biblically sound, or to know that somebody is biblically sound, you would have to read the Bible. And so I also think, in addition, the resources that they provide can give us clarity and challenge our thinking and just inspire us in our journey. So yeah, I want us to support and learn from these people who are mostly, I think all of them, dedicating their whole lives to defending the faith and sharing the truth of the gospel. And so I want us to be informed and compassionate and, of course, courageous, wherever we are, and ready to give an answer for the hope that we have, as it says in 1 Peter. So that's my little spiel for the day. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, subscribe so we can stick together, because we already go together. If you need to send this to somebody who was looking for a list of resources to consume, do send them, because I think they'll appreciate. And of course, if you want to contribute to the conversation, if you have questions, feel free to connect with me on Instagram or drop your comment below. I will see you.